Hi and welcome to Santosha Rose. My name's Sam and the theme for today's practice is going to be courage, which is my favourite thing. I'm really excited to share this one with you. See you on the mat. We're going to start our practice today in staff pose. So sitting with a nice straight back, legs out straight in front of you, keeping them hip width apart, so a bit of a gap between the knees, gap between the ankles. And the first thing that we're going to do is lift up through the spine. So imagining that you're being lifted up through the crown of your head, having that engagement all the way through the spine. Relaxation in the shoulders though, so no tension in the upper body, feeling that nice sense of lift, of integrity. We're going to bring the toes towards the face, so flexing through the toes, feeling engagement in the legs, in the knees, maybe just resting the hands on the thighs. And taking a couple of breaths here. This is much more challenging than it looks. If you're really struggling to get the straight spine, you can take a block or a blanket or a cushion, just put it underneath so you're lifting up a little bit. That will help with getting that length. Ideally, we're working towards having straight legs, but if you need a little bit of a bend in the legs, particularly if you've got tension in your lower back, take a bend in the knees if that feels that that's helpful. Feeling that sense of lifting up through the spine, having your gaze at a point in front of you, head is neutral, relaxing through the shoulders, grounding down through the sitting bones, engaging through the legs and pulling the toes back. And we're going to take a couple of breaths here. And bringing the awareness into the feet. Now separate the toes. So having that sensation of trying to create space between each of your toes. And then curling the toes in. So keeping the rest of the feet still at the moment. Curl the toes in and then opening up, spreading the toes out. And curling in and spreading out. And noticing if you've collapsed in your back here, can you keep the back really still, moving the toes? Okay, we're going to point the whole feet away now. So reaching the feet towards the edge of the mat and then flexing the toes back, coming towards your face. And pointing away and flexing. And again, keeping the integrity in the spine, the engagement in the legs, pointing and flexing. And we're going to take some circles now in the ankles. Just resting the hands on the legs. Can you keep your whole leg still so it's just the ankles that are moving? Quite often in this, the whole legs want to get involved and everything's suddenly moving. Spine is still, legs are still, ankles are turning round. And taking those circles in the other direction. And not rushing, trying to go fast, feeling like you're drawing circles with your big toes. And you may be feeling this all the way up your legs. That's cool. Okay, I'm going to bend in the right knee. Give it a little bit of a squeeze and then placing it down, maybe a hand width away from the knee. So not too close and tight in. Going to lift up, engaging through the back, engaging through that left foot, bringing the toes towards you. Going to reach the left arm up to the ceiling, lengthening through the spine, and then bringing that left arm on so it comes round the right knee, bringing the right hand behind, and we're going to take a little twist here. So inhaling, lifting up through the spine, making the spine long. Exhale, finding a little bit more twist. And using your breath to lengthen and twist. And then we're going to inhale, coming back to neutral, reaching both arms up to the ceiling this time, feeling that sense of lift through the spine, through the armpits, through the arms, and we're going to fold forward over the left hand, over the left leg, sorry. So you might find that you reach your knees, your shins, you might be able to get all the way through to your foot. Just see what feels good for your body today. And using the breath, so inhale, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, can you find a little bit more of that reach, of that bend? And then slowly bringing your hands up your leg, uncurling through the spine. You're going to straighten that leg away and just lifting the legs up, have a little bit of a shake up and down and side to side. Fabulous. Okay, we're going to bend in through the left leg now. Give it a squeeze in first and then bringing it down hand width apart from the right knee. Engaging through the right toes, pulling those back, lifting up through the spine, feeling that sense of engagement. We're going to lift up the right arm, growing, reaching to the ceiling, and then tucking that right arm over the left knee, bringing the left hand behind, and using the breath again. So inhaling, lift, exhaling, finding that twist. Keeping the engagement of the right leg, the right toes pulling back, and using the breath to find that nice twist. And then inhale, coming back to the center, reaching the arms up, and then exhale, we're going to fold forward over that right leg. Using the breath to inhale, lengthen the spine, exhale, reaching, folding that little bit more forward. Breathing into any places that feel tight. And then slowly curling up, coming up the right leg, straightening the left leg away. We're going to shake the legs up and down and side to side. Fabulous. Okay. Engaging back in that staff pose. So lifting the toes up, straighten the spine. We're going to lift the arms in front and just take a couple of circles with those wrists. And again, can you keep everything still apart from your wrists and your hands? So legs are still, arms are still, back, lifting up and engaged, and then taking the circles in the other direction. Feeling the whole body kind of engaged. And this is quite active. It's quite challenging posture. Fabulous. Okay, taking a couple of circles in the shoulders, circling back. 1 and 2. And circling forward. 1 and 2. Fabulous. Okay, going to cross the legs in to come over the top into tabletop position. So taking the time to check your alignment here. Shoulders over wrists, hips stacking over knees, knees hip width apart. Nice wide fingers, engaging through the fingers. So pushing through your fingers will take some of the weight out of your wrists. And also feel that sense of engagement. So bringing navel into the spine. If you're collapsing in your shoulders and you've kind of created this, see if you can bring your shoulders away from your neck, engaging through the core, feeling that really strong, stable position. And we're going to do some cat-cow postures. So bringing the tummy down and the head up on the inhale, and on the exhale, curling through the spine, bringing the head towards the chest, bring the navel up towards the spine. And inhaling, tummy down and head up. Check that you've not collapsed in your shoulders again here. And exhale, sucking the tummy into the spine, curling up, bringing the head into the chest. And we're going to do one more of each of those. Tummy down and head up. And then curling through the spine. head coming into the chin, and then bringing it back to a neutral position. And we're going to take some figure of 8 movements here. So coming forward over the right wrist, and then coming forward, going towards the left wrist, allowing it to come back, taking your hips over to the right hand side, and then over to the left. This is a real fluid movement. You're making that number 8, that infinity sign, with your shoulders, with your hips, and just feeling a little bit of movement in this position, and then reversing it. So coming over the left wrist first, onto the right wrist, coming back, left hip, right hip, and taking a couple more of those movements, feeling the engagement through the tops of the feet and the fingers, and then coming back to a neutral tabletop position. Going to ground down through the right hand, lifting the left arm up to the ceiling, opening up, and then threading that right arm through, coming onto the left arm through, onto the left shoulder, the left side of the head, and then pushing through the right arm, opening back up, flowing back, open left arm coming up, and bringing the left hand back down. And we're going to sync this up with the breath. So inhale, pushing through the right arm, lifting the left arm up to the ceiling. Exhale, threading through, bringing the shoulder, the side of the head down onto the mat. One more time, inhaling, opening up, left arm to the ceiling, and then bringing the hand back down, and just noticing that feeling, having stretched one side, not the other. Okay, engaging through the left hand now. We're going to lift the right hand up, opening up, right arm to the ceiling, and then on the exhale, threading the hand through, coming onto the right shoulder, right side of the head, and inhaling, reaching back up, pressing through the left arm. Exhale, thread the arm through, coming down onto the shoulder. Inhaling through the right arm, reaching up, feeling that sense of stretch. Exhale, shoulder coming back down, threading the arm in, and then reaching back up one last time, right arm up to the ceiling, and then bringing the right hand back down next to the left. Okay, we're going to bring the elbows down to where the palms are now. So left elbow down, right elbow down. Hands are like train tracks, so they're parallel to each other ahead of you. You're going to keep that sense of lifting up through your sitting bones. We're going to take the knees back, so keeping the sit bones up to the ceiling. Knees are going to come back, chest is going to come down towards the mat. So feeling that stretch in the shoulders, and it's heart to floor. So chest coming towards the floor, feeling that real sense of openness, keeping the hips lifting up to the ceiling, and then bringing the weight back forwards, bringing the hips down, keeping the arms exactly where they are. We're going to come into a Sphinx pose. The hips are on the floor, feet hip width apart, hands still parallel. And again, check, have you collapsed down in your shoulders? Can you keep that sense of lift? Shoulders away from the neck. And the theme for today's practice is courage. And Brené Brown describes courage coming from the Latin word cur, which means to tell the story of who you are with your whole heart. So as well as strength postures today, we're going to have some heart-opening postures, telling the story of who we are with our whole hearts. Feeling that sense of openness in the chest, heart up to the sky. And then we're going to come down slowly, bringing one hand on top of the other, elbows coming out to the side, and bring the head down to rest on the two hands, creating a little bit of a pillow there. And taking a couple of breaths here. And you're going to bend your right leg coming in towards your right glute. Taking the right hand behind and just taking the top of that right foot and gently bringing that foot in towards the glute, feeling the stretch down the front of the thigh. You can lift the head slightly or have the head resting on the left hand. And breathing into any places of tension that you can feel. And then releasing with that hand, bringing the foot slowly with control back down to the floor. Bring the right hand back in. And then we're going to lift the left leg, take the left hand behind, holding the back of the foot, and feeling that stretch through the leg, bringing the foot in towards the glute. And then straightening the leg back out, releasing the hand back down. And we're going to do both legs together. So bringing the legs in towards the buttocks, taking the tops of the feet with the hands and pulling the feet in towards the glute muscles, feeling that stretch in your thighs. Okay. Keeping breathing. And then releasing with the hands, slowly bringing the feet back down and release the hands so they're coming down by your sides. I'm going to engage now through the shoulder blades. So pulling the shoulder blades together, have that sense of squeezing the shoulder blades. And as you do that, your head, your chest will lift up off the floor naturally, just from that squeezing of the shoulder blades. And then we're going to lift the hands and feet up off the floor as well. So keeping that sense of lift, heart opening, squeezing the shoulder blades together, lifting the hands and feet, and breathing deep. And then we're going to release, coming down onto your right cheek, having your head to one side, taking a full breath here. And then we're going to squeeze through the shoulder blades again, lifting, feeling the shoulder blades pull together, lifting up your shoulders and your chest, and then actively lifting up the arms and legs, reaching towards the back of the mat. So hands and feet both reaching towards the back of the mat, gaze down to the mat. And then we're going to come down onto the left cheek this time. Relaxing down onto the mat and taking a full cycle of breath here. And this last time we're going to combine those two things. So squeezing the shoulder blades together, feeling that sense of lift up through the shoulders, through the chest, bending the legs this time and taking the tops of the feet if that works for your body, and then lifting up into a bow pose. It's a real sense of heart opening, pushing your feet against your hands so you're creating that tension there, lifting up through the chest, and then slowly going to release the legs down, letting go with the arms and legs, and then bringing the hands back to create that pillow, one hand on top of the other underneath the forehead. Bringing the forehead in and bringing your big toes to touch each other. Let your heels come out to the side and just take a little rock on your hips from side to side. Releasing any tension in the spine. And then we're going to take the hands underneath the shoulders, pushing up onto hands and knees and taking the hips straight back into an extended child's pose. So reaching the arms in front, sending the hips back towards the heels, and taking a couple of breaths here. Feeling that sense of stretch through the side body, the armpits, reaching the arms away. Breathing into the back of the body. Amazing. Okay, we're going to coming up, tuck the toes underneath. We're going to lift the hips up to the ceiling, coming up into a downward facing dog. And be nice and gentle with yourself here. So we're going to take some pedaling, bending one leg, bending the other, having some nice fluid movements. So allowing yourself to move in the shoulders, in the hips, just taking the cue from your body, what feels good for you today. Pressing down through the fingers. And then we're slowly going to bring the feet together and planting down through the left foot. We're going to lift the right foot in a straight line, coming all the way up to the ceiling. Feeling that extension, that length, and then bending that leg in. We're going to bring it between the hands. So might take a couple of steps to get there, that's cool. Bring the left knee down, untuck the left toe. We're going to reach arms up into a crescent moon pose, gaze coming between the fingertips, feeling like you're lifting up and then bringing the hands down by the sides. I'm going to open the heart, lifting up through the chest, opening the chest up. Horse riding pose, equestrian pose. Fingers are coming down towards the mat. Make sure you've got a nice straight line from your heel coming up to your knee and bringing the gaze to the place where the ceiling meets the wall in front of you. Opening up through the chest and then bringing the hands onto either side of the foot. Tuck the left toe, lift the left knee up. You're going to bend in the left knee, rocking back, then sending the left foot up to meet the right at the front of the mat. And forward fold here. Allowing yourself to feel heavy. Maybe take a little bend in the knees. Maybe grasping your elbows on either side. Take a little sway from side to side. And we're going to uncurl, bring the hands up the legs, stacking the spine on top of it, each vertebrae on top of the other. Slowly lifting up, shoulders back, head up. Take a couple of circles in the shoulders, backwards, and a couple of circles forwards. Now we're going to inhale, bend the knees a little bit, reaching the arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold again. Reaching forward, bending the knees, planting the foot down. We're going to take the right foot back, bring the right knee down, untuck the right toe, lifting up, arms looking in the gap between those fingers again. Check you've got that nice straight line going from the left foot up to the left knee, reaching up and then bringing the hands down by the sides, opening up in the chest. Feeling that heart opening pose, raising your gaze and breathing here. And then bringing the hands onto either side of the foot, tucking the right toe, lifting the right knee, taking the left foot back up into downward facing dog. And maybe coming up onto your tiptoes, taking a little bit of a bend in the knees so you can really push your hips up to the ceiling, feeling that real sense of lift. And maybe over time you'll work to straighten the legs, bringing the heels down towards the floor. And bringing the feet together, you can plant down through the right foot, lifting the left leg all the way up to the ceiling, and then stepping the left leg through. Bring the knee down, untuck the toe, reaching the arms back up, and then bringing the hands back down. Tuck the right toe, lifting the right knee, then bending through the right knee, coming forward, back into that forward fold position, allowing yourself to feel heavy. And then take a little bend in the knees. We're going to inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, bringing the hands down. Prayer position in front of the chest and then by the sides. Now I'm going to take the hands onto the waist now. I'm going to step back with the left foot, opening up the hips to the long edge of the mat. So the left foot is parallel to the short edge of the mat. The right foot still facing forwards. Got the straight line coming up from your heel up to your right knee, and feel that real sense of openness in the hips. So hips are opening out. Feel that you're pressing the weight through the outside edge of your left foot and then reaching the arms up into warrior two. So you can take your gaze down your right arm, looking to the tips of your right middle finger. Feeling the strength of this posture, maybe feeling a little bit of a burn coming in the legs, that real sense of feeling strong. We're going to reach towards the right hand, reaching your body forward first of all, and then taking it back over the top, left arm to left thigh, right arm stretching back and over, keeping the legs in the same position that they were in before, but feeling that real sense of reach all the way through the right side body. And then coming back into the warrior posture, and then bringing the right elbow to the right thigh and lifting the left arm up, and taking the gaze to the left arm. So you've got that straight line coming up from the bottom of your foot all the way to the tips of your finger. And then lifting, coming back to the warrior position, straightening through that right leg, bringing the right foot so that it's also pointing towards the front of the mat, at the long edge of the mat. And then bringing the hands back onto the waist. You're going to fold forward, flat back position, head coming forward, sending the hips back, and then carrying on, folding forward with that long spine, bringing the hands so the fingertips are in line with the toes. And then the intention on this posture is bringing the head towards the floor. So feeling that real sense of stretching, bringing the head towards the floor. And you can use your breath here. So inhaling, lengthen the spine. Exhale, can you find a little bit more reach? And then bringing the hands back to the waist. Going to slowly and with control, bringing yourself back up. And then we're going to turn that left foot so it's pointing towards the short edge of the mat, keeping the right foot where it is, bending down through that left knee. And again, keeping the hips square against the long edge of the mat. Straight line coming up from the heel to the left knee. Wide hips, pushing down into the outside of that right foot, lifting the arms. You've got a nice straight line in the arms, and then looking down the left hand to the left middle finger. And breathing here. Inhaling, reaching forwards towards the left hand, and then taking it over and back. Right hand coming onto the top of the thigh, left hand reaching behind, feeling beautiful stretch coming through the left hand side of the body. And then coming back up into warrior posture, and then bending through the left elbow onto the left thigh, reaching that fingers ahead, and then taking the right hand over the top. creating a straight line from your right foot all the way through to the right fingertips. And again, feeling a nice sense of stretch through the side body. And then inhaling, coming back to center, straightening through the left leg. Bring left toes back into the center. And this time, you're going to take a clasp behind your back. So bringing your hands together behind your back, you're going to fold forward and bringing the hands over the top, head coming towards the floor, feeling that stretch in the shoulders. And using the breath to inhale, lengthen the spine, exhale, find that fold. And then engaging through the core slowly with control, we're going to come back up. Bringing hands to the waist and taking that left foot back up to join the right at the top of the mat where we'd started. Okay, releasing the arms, take a little bend in the knees, reaching arms up to the ceiling, reaching up, feeling that stretch through the whole body and forward fold. Coming down towards the mat. Taking a bend in the knees, we're going to bring the left palm under the left foot, the right palm under the right foot. So your toes are touching against your wrists. And starting with that nice generous bend in the knee, over time we're going to work to straighten the legs. And then you're getting a lovely stretch both in the back of your legs but also in your spine, in your shoulders. And sending a breath to any places that are feeling tight. And bending through the knees again, bringing the hands out one and then the other. And planting down through the hands, we're going to take the feet back one and the other into a plank pose. So take a second here to check your alignment in plank. Nice wide fingers, shoulders over wrists, straight line going from the crown of the head down to the heels. Now maybe feeling a little bit of heat here, feeling strong. Engaging through your core, bringing your core in towards your spine, so navel into spine, feeling that sense of engagement. And we're going to bring the knees down and send the hips back, extended child's pose. And you can keep that extension if that's feeling nice, stretching the arms out in front, or maybe you want to bring the hands towards the feet, or creating a pillow, one hand on top of the other under your forehead. Decide what feels good for your body. Bringing yourself into a nice resting position here. We're going to take another full cycle of breath. And then slowly bringing yourself up. Seated, taking both legs to one side. You're going to come into a seated posture and come a little bit forward on the mat so you've got some space behind you. Bending the knees, feet flat on the floor. You're going to reach the arms in front and we're going to come down slowly, curling through the spine, bringing yourself down to lying on the mat. Now we're going to take the arms out to the side and taking the legs over to the right hand side. It's just letting them fall over to the side and looking down the left arm, feeling that nice sense of twist. If you want to deepen the twist, you can bring the knees in a little bit closer, lifting the knees up. You'll feel more stretch coming through the glutes then. Keeping the left shoulder on the floor. That's the key here. The upper body is flat against the floor. The twist is coming in the spine. And then bringing your gaze back up. Engaging through the core, lifting the legs back up, and then taking the knees over to the left hand side this time. And again, you can have it fairly open if that's feeling good. If you want to have a bit more stretch, you can bring the knees in a little bit closer to the chest. And taking the gaze down the right arm, keeping that right shoulder on the floor. And breathing here. And then bringing gaze back to the ceiling, engaging through your core, bringing the knees back up. And then we're going to send the legs out long. One leg, the other leg, bringing the hands, palms facing upwards, a little bit in towards the body. And tucking your shoulders down your back. So moving your shoulders away from your neck, bringing the shoulder blades down your spine. Now we're going to take a couple of cycles of breath here. Feeling that sense of courage that comes from strength and bravery, and from telling the story of who we are with our whole heart. Bring the palms together in front of the chest, and I'm going to close the practice off. Namaste.
Thanks so much for sharing your practice with me today. If you enjoyed it, do give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know how you found it in the comments below. See you again soon.